Welcome, film industry professionals, film buffs, and aspiring filmmakers. I'm your host, Fernando Gillen, and our lovely co-host, Dana De La Camera. This is the Cinema Pathway TV show, presented by Paradoxical Films and brought to you by Stevedirects. Join us on this journey behind the camera and, most importantly, beyond what we know about cinema and the craft of filmmaking and all its mysteries. So please, take a seat, grab a soda and some popcorn, and join us on this cinema road together, because we are the Cinema Pathway TV show. Welcome to the Cinema Pathway TV show. I am your host, Fernando Gillen, and in today's episode, we have a legend of the industry. He's a director, producer, and owner of Marcus Productions. Steve Marcus, we welcome you to the show.
Glad to be here. Thank you. Great.
Steve's legacy in television began early. In his early 20s, he earned a prestigious Emmy Award in 1979, an extraordinary achievement that foreshadowed a career marked by innovation, excellence, and longevity. Among his early champions was none other than Desi Arnaz, the legendary actor, producer, and innovator behind I Love Lucy. This endorsement from a television pioneer cemented Steve's path in the industry. Soon after, Steve created, produced, and directed the national television series Disco Magic from 1977 to 1979. Airing on CBS, affiliates, and seen in over 50 countries, the show featured many of the top recording stars of the era. It became a cultural phenomenon, showcasing his expertise in music-driven, multi-camera production at a time when the medium was evolving rapidly. His eye for dynamic storytelling and visual style led Disney to bring him on board for two high-profile specials, Stars of the 21st Century and A Day in the Life of Walt Disney World. The latter, hosted by Mickey Mouse, offered viewers a rare behind-the-scenes glimpse into the magic of Disney, further demonstrating Steve's ability to blend entertainment with immersive storytelling. Steve also brought his talents to the national holiday scene, directing 3 one-hour specials for ABC affiliates, hosted by Spencer Christian of Good Morning America. These festive broadcasts feature major stars, including Chaka Khan, Peebo Bryson, Dr. Ruth, Rip Taylor, Eva LaRue, and Michael Winslow. His work continues to influence the way stories are told, commercials are crafted, and audiences of all types, including new generations, are inspired by his work. Awesome, man. How are you?
I'm feeling good.
Feeling good? Feeling pumped?
Feeling pumped. Yeah.
That's good, man. Let's just jump right into it. Did your career start in Miami?
No, Miami. I love Miami. When I started my career, it was a different type of industry than it is now.
In what way?
You didn't have all the facilities and grip trucks and remote trucks available like you do now. Back in the day, sometimes we'd have to bring a lot of stuff in. But it was a great time, and there were competitors out there that I had. We were all friendly, and we'd all meet once a month, which was great. And exchange stories. So it was a great time. It was a wonderful time.
Can you tell us what is one of those stories that you feel that was unique?
I remember once I had to do aerial shots for something over the city of Miami, and I met the helicopter at Stevecreated when they were located in Miami, because they always pulled out the back seat and then they'd put in the camera mount where I would have to sit sideways, halfway in and halfway out.
That's awesome. I actually thought you were flying the helicopter.
No, I can't fly helicopters. But I love doing the crazy stuff.
Of course.
We shot commercials for the Queen Mary 2 cruise line, and we would do helicopter shots out in the ocean, out in the Caribbean, get back on the ship, and those were fun times. I mean, and all the celebrities that I worked with, every single one, I enjoyed working with them, which I didn't mention maybe earlier before. One of my favorites, when I was 29 years old, I got a call from New York. How would you like to direct a Broadway show with Vincent Price for Showtime Network? I go, you're kidding me. And you were highly recommended. Next thing I know, I'm on a plane to New York.
At 29?
At 29 years old.
What an experience.
I'm working with Vincent Price, who was my idol from when I was a kid watching his horror movies. 3 weeks of rehearsals, and then I shot it with 8 cameras on a Broadway stage.
How was that experience? Like,
it was
the
wonderful.
Feeling? Like
it was wonderful. It was a horror type of show. It was called Ricciardi's chamber of horror and illusion. If you went on YouTube, you could probably find it, where they were chopping heads off of people. I mean, it was a crazy show. And the rehearsals were phenomenal. You know, I got to give a little input on it, but they knew what they were doing. My part was to figure out how to cover it for television, where the cameras were, and working with Vincent. And he was such a great guy. He would always say, Stevie, I'll be in the alley reading a newspaper. When you need me, I'll come right in. Just send somebody for me, you know. So I really enjoyed it. All the successes I had when I was young, I didn't realize what I was accomplishing. I was moving through life so fast from project to project. It wasn't until 20, 30 years later, I looked back and said, holy shit, I can't believe I did all that.
It's kind of like being, you know, so immersed into what you're doing that
I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, that you really are not thinking about the outcome of it. You're just going with the going with the flow.
Going with the flow, you know. And I love to create and do new types of things with the cameras and new techniques and how to shoot things. It was great.
After 5 decades, decades in the business, do you remember the first TV show that you directed, or was it that one?
Let me tell you how I got my start, then I'll explain how I got the first TV show. Since I was 8 years old on the Howdy Doody show in New York, my father brought me and my brother to be in the audience. And as I left the studio, I looked around at the cameras and the lights. I said, this is what I want to do for a living. Something connected with me. That was my path.
Your calling.
That was my dad thought I was living in a dream world, and he ended up working for me for 25 years, which is funny.
What did your dad say? Like, you're crazy, son.
Well, no, he said,
you're not going to do that.
Listen, you could always work at a gas station. You could do this. You could do that. It was crazy. So what happened was, now I'm in high school, 11th grade, Miami Norland Senior High School. And Rick Shaw, who was a big DJ at WQAM, had a show on the ABC affiliate Channel 10 every week called Saturday Hop. It was a dance show, and they had a couple of guest stars, and different high schools were invited. Well, when our high school was invited, I wanted to go, not to necessarily be on it, but to see behind the scenes.
What was it about exactly?
Well, it's like an American Bandstand show, but local, with the kids dancing from the different schools. And that particular show, they had Simon and Garfunkel on. They'd bring in some major guest stars. Then he comes out to me in the lobby as I'm waiting to go in. He says, how would you like to lip sync a record? And I'll give you a record album and some movie passes. I said, oh, my friends would freak out. I said, yeah, let's do it. And he asked this other girl, and we did it. We had fun. As we're leaving the studio, secretary says, could you guys wait? Rick wants to talk to you. I said, okay. And Rick comes out and says, you're not going to believe this, but the station manager was watching the show, and he saw you guys lip syncing these records. He says, let's do a morning show Monday through Friday with kids lip syncing records. And we'll call it the Rick Shaw Show. And it lasted for 5 years. And I was on this show every day, 5 days a week. But I was more interested in the production and everything else.
And once you landed that gig, what did your dad say?
He never said much. That's an interesting story. And I'll tell you, when I won the Emmy Award, my mom congratulated me. And I said, days later, how come Dad never called to congratulate me? He never tells me he's proud of me. But he brags about you to all the neighbors. But he would never tell me.
Interesting.
Everybody has different family dynamics.
Right.
We do. But anyway, so I did this show with Rick. And then Rick started a company called Miami Teleproductions, a TV production company with also a remote truck. My production, what I wanted to do. So he brought me along. And I was then running cameras, sweeping floors, doing lighting, got into some directing. And there was a show in Atlanta called The Now Explosion. It was like before MTV, 5 hours of constant music videos would actually dance Atlanta. Then they started using us to shoot the music videos with some major stars and also with girls and guys walking on the beach to the music or whatever. And I said to Rick, listen, why don't we do The Now Explosion at Channel 10 once a week? I'll sell the airtime and I'll go direct the show and produce it. And that's what happened. I started doing that, directing shows at Channel 10, his show, The Now Explosion. And then I started wanting to do commercials and direct them myself and bringing in business like Jordan Marsh and Burdines and all of these department stores. And after a while, I said, I'm just going to go out on my own. And that's what I did. So I started my own company at 25 years old. And then the rest was history.
At 25?
Yeah, at 25. Yeah. Thank God I incorporated, which was good. And what I did was I had to look at it from a business aspect. I didn't want to own studios. I didn't want to own equipment. Everything I did, I put it together based on what I needed. Crews were independent contractors, the studios I would rent, the remote trucks. And That's how I did all of my production. So if I'm shooting 10 days, done. And then it's not costing me anything. And these crews were all freelance. If they weren't working for me, they were working for other guys. It was just a lot of fun. I did a lot of stuff, with sports down here and the Miami Dolphins. Then I got to work with Don Shula in all the Humana healthcare commercials. And I loved working with him. Everybody on the crew would call him Coach. He wanted to be called Coach, and he was such a sweetheart. I've worked with a lot of sports figures. Dan Marino, Johnny Unitas, on and on and on. I can't remember them all, but a lot of them, back in the day. And it was a great time.
That's amazing.
It was a great time.
What about that Emmy that you won?
That was in 1979.
It was handed to you by Desi Arnaz, right?
Desi Arnaz, yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was
must have been orgasmic.
When I thought about it the next day, I said, holy shit. I mean, I just won an Emmy Award, And one of the things I'm real proud of, when you mentioned the disco show, what happened was I was out on a boat with a friend of mine and a couple of girls. We were going to go water skiing. And I said, what do you guys
Sounds like fun.
No, it was. And disco was starting to happen. And I had an idea, what do you think about a disco show and bring in the guest stars, the actual guest stars, and people would actually dance to every song to the guest stars. And I have a unique way I'd like to shoot it that's never been done before. Bottom line, we shot the pilot, and we got Casey and the Sunshine Band to be on the pilot, and people liked the show. But what I did was I wanted to figure out a way that I could make it look like 5 cameras, and I shot it with 1 camera. And they developed the slow-mo disc recorder back in the day. For sports events, they could show 30 seconds of slow motion of a football play, whatever. Well, we had it available to us where I could add slow motion into it. And what I would do, I would have like Lou Rawls or the Stylistics or the Jackson 5. I would have them do the song 3 times, sometimes 5 times. First time, I would shoot it handheld. Then I would shoot it from this position, then that position. All the words were scripted out. Then I would go into an edit suite and I would sync it all up. And then I would switch it live afterwards, like days later, and dissolve in all the slow motion and everything. And it was the first show to also go stereo on television. We hooked up with all the stations around the country, and they would run the audio portion of the show.
Completely innovative, man.
Funny story, Lou Rawls, who was a big star, I don't know if you ever remember Lou Rawls. He had major hits for years. And my talent coordinator had all these connections, and he got Lou Rawls, who was appearing at the Diplomat. I said, Lou, let me tell you how I do this. I want to shoot this different ways. Maybe we'll do it 3, 4, 5 times from different angles with 1 camera. He says, I'm only doing it once and I'm leaving. I said, do me a favor, look at 5 minutes of the pilot. He looked at it and says, Steve, you got me all day. He loved what he saw.
Yeah, I bet
and it was just a wonderful experience of all the people.
He must have loved it, otherwise you wouldn't be here.
And I couldn't even disco dance, but I loved I love shooting. And we had the Stylistics and the Spinners and Vicky Sue Robinson and the Village People. Everybody we had 65 of the biggest guest stars on our show during the whole season. And again, I didn't think I was accomplishing anything. I was off to the races with something else afterwards. Again, as I look back at it, it was mind-boggling to me.
What we pulled
off. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of picturing your journey, and it sounds like a dream, really.
Yeah. And it was shot at a club called Pete and Lenny's in Fort Lauderdale. We would shoot there during the day where we had total control of it. And then we do some locations on Miami Beach, some at the Jockey Club, the Cricket Club, and Coconut Grove we shot.
You always knew that Florida was home?
I moved here going into the 3rd grade from New York. So I really grew up in Miami Beach, Hollywood. This is where I grew up. And I owe a lot of my success to the people who told me I couldn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish.
The naysayers.
When I had ideas of shows and series, and then all these guys, how are you going to pull that off? And that just motivated me. I'll show you. Absolutely.
I'll show you.
Yeah, all good memories.
We're going to take a short break, guys. We'll be right back with more of Steve Marcus, and we'll talk about his crafting and directing, producing. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Tell Your Story. It is a masterclass hands-on workshop that is presented by Cine Videotech and brought to you by Paradoxical Films. Crafting cinematic vision and lighting engineers with the instructor, Mr. Egon Stefan Jr. You will learn how to work with actual film, 16mm, Super 16mm, 35mm, and film cameras. In addition, how to load them and change magazines. Furthermore, the workshop will prepare you on how and what it takes to work on set as a first or second assistant camera, the fundamentals of lighting, and the pathway to becoming a director of photography. Furthermore, coming soon, unveiling the artistry, a mastering of makeup techniques with the uber-talented special effects makeup artist, Bianca Graciani. She will enrich your knowledge and techniques with professional tools that are implemented in the film industry, commercials, and more. For information about the classes and updates, everything will be posted on our website at www.paradoxicalfilms.com/tell-your-story.
And we are back to the Cinema Pathway TV show, the only show that gives you the insight of the film industry and its guests. We're back with Steve Marcus, famous director and producer. And now we're going to plunge in depth into your career. Since you established Marcus Production in 1975, did you have a mentor that inspire you to do that, or it was just something that you thought about it and you were like, you know what, I'm just gonna do a production, have my own company?
Well, Rick Shaw was really my mentor when he put me on his show and going to his TV production company. I remember him telling me one day, we're in the car, and he says, "You're really an entrepreneur, aren't you?" I think it was 21 or 22 years old. I didn't even know what the word meant at the time, you know. And yeah, so I owe him a lot. I really do. Absolutely.
Good memories with him?
Yeah, great memories. Yeah. I also learned how to act on a set. You know, when I'm directing, I use humor a lot. I'm not one of these, I love to joke around with people. When I'm working with talent, like when you work with celebrities, the key to having a cooperative celebrity, if you tell him to be there at 8 a.m, and if he has to sit around for 3 or 4 hours, he's not in a good mood. When he gets there, he gets right into makeup, or she or whatever, and they go to work. And they really appreciate that. With the crew, I keep everything lighthearted. I joke around a lot. If somebody's doing something wrong, I don't want to embarrass them. I'll walk over and I'll say, you know what, that's not bad, but maybe we ought to try this. You know, I've learned how to talk to people. And I joke around a lot. I'll tell you a funny story. On the slate where it says director, my name wasn't there. The name was Tonto Goldberg, because I know people would say, why does it say Tonto Goldberg? Then it gives me an opportunity to tell them the story. I'm on a plane coming back from New York, and this woman about my age sits next to me. I don't know her, but she's very, very talkative. And she's telling me all about all these different relationships she's in with different types of men and this and that. And I said, what men are you most attracted to? She says, American Indian men are number one, and Jewish guys. She goes, what's your name? My name is Patty. I said, my name is Tonto Goldberg. So that's how that started. I joke around on the set. And I get people, and also you want to feed the crew good. That is so important. There's a nice breakfast when you get there. There's a nice lunch, and you give everybody a time to eat.
It's hard work, man. You know,
it is hard work. These guys work their butts off.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, and it's very much appreciated on my end, and they know that because we keep using a lot of the same people. You know. And I also believe in helping those through internships that want to get started in the industry. And the state of Florida years ago used to pay production companies to take the interns. And then we in turn would give them that money as their salary. And a lot of people went on to have nice careers that have worked for me as interns over the years. You know, I love doing that. I love teaching.
Now that you mentioned that, was there ever a good advice that you received from an important individual or your mentor that you still use today in your work life and in your craft, now that you're talking about, you know, working with people, literally? You know, as you said, you're not the drill sergeant type of director.
I almost turned into that. But what I didn't tell you is Lindsay Hopkins, have you ever heard of them? The school system used to have a TV production school at night in Miami. You had to be 18. I lied about my age. I went in there at 16. And every day we would do a news show, and you'd be the host, you'd be the camera, you'd be the audio, you'd be switching it, you'd be the director. And then when it was my turn to be the director, I was getting very angry at these guys. And the teacher says, cut, stop. And he took me aside. He says, first of all, he says, chances are in the real world, you're not going to have guys screwing up like these guys are. And the other thing is, think before you open your mouth, okay? Think what damage you might be doing to somebody's self-esteem. And he said this last thing. He says, if you were on your deathbed, and if what you're about to say is that important, would it be that important on your deathbed? And no, it wouldn't. So that helped me a lot. I haven't got upset on the set in a long time, except we were shooting downtown Miami, and it was a night scene. A girl was kidnapped, and she got away from the kidnappers, and it was by the Olympia Theater, and we had to make the rain, and we had the fire trucks there providing the water and the rain machines. The two guys would come and save her in their car, in their sports car. They were cops. So we're ready to roll. It's 3 a.m, and all of a sudden, the actress fainted from low blood sugar. They lost power, and the fire department lost water pressure.
No pressure. No pun intended. Fuck.
I am like walking up and down Flagler Street, like 3:30. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And I said, if there's a God, now, there was a drought that summer in Miami. And I looked up and I said, God, if you are up there, help me out here. 3 minutes later, it starts raining.
I just thought about like that scene, like super stressful, everything
Oh,
happened.
my
Just like in a
God.
movie when you see like, what else do you want from me? Like, can you
Exactly.
give me a sign? And then just rain. You know what I mean?
It rains, and then I hear, the girl's fine. They got the water pressure. Let's shoot it. We shot it in 20 minutes, and the rain stopped.
Wow.
It was like a power greater
A
than
higher
myself,
power.
man.
Just watching every
Crazy stories.
Wow, man. About Marcus Productions, who's the core in your team that helps you create all of this? And
My
it's-
son, who's 42 years old, works out of New York. He's the executive producer. He brings all the business in now, and then he produces. He's been doing that with me for years. But when he was 12 years old, I said, I'm going to invite you to the set. You're going to be an assistant director. So we're shooting on South Beach, and I say to him, Matthew, go inside and tell the talent that we're ready for them. He says, I don't talk to people. I said, good, go play with your friend. I went in, and that was his first time on the set. He didn't understand what was going on. But he's been working for me for many years. And it's a great collaboration to have your son doing it, you know.
Absolutely. I mean,
I
in
rely
terms
on him heavily. I get
Yeah,
on
so
that
it's-
set, everything is there, it's right, permits, locations, the insurance, the right crews. You know, I tell him what I need camera-wise and booking with the edit sessions and the castings, and he arranges all that for me.
you gotta have like obviously a natural talent for that, you know, I believe. It's just like working in sales. Like some people are born with it and some others do not. In my case, like it's in the acting world. But yeah, I feel that producing and directing, I would love to try directing. I think it might be fun. I don't know how I would react if somebody like doesn't do something right. I will try to be respectful, obviously, but I'm pretty sure that there's got to be moments where your blood pressure just spikes.
No, well, not anymore. No, I would, if they didn't do something right, I said, that's not bad, but let's try it this way. And maybe give me 5 different types of readings on it. And then I'll decide in editing. So as a director, you're thinking visually. You're also thinking what you know you can do in the control room. And with 4K video, I know I can blow certain things up.
Right.
And I can position things or whatever. So you have to know the technical aspect of it, of what you can do.
Yeah, but this is something that I've noticed, and I've asked several people about this, and please forgive me if I sound repetitive, had the experience where a lot of new filmmakers go to film school, they learn the whole technical aspect of, you know, camera, the sets, the lenses, and that's fine. But when it comes to directing their actors, they have no idea of what they're doing. They basically tell you what is written on the script, and that's it. And I always thought like, well, if that's the case, like I can be a director. So I've always encouraged people that want to learn how to be a film director to take acting classes, and vice versa. Like an actor needs to learn, you know, what type of lens is being used for a specific scene, so you know exactly what is the amount of range that you need to deliver, so you can learn. That door just goes both ways.
You can give the same script to 5 TV directors or motion picture directors.
And get 5
and it'll
different
be 5 different looks totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody has a style that they like to work with.
And I also experienced that in the theater.
I'm sure.
Like there's a lot of good directors that they're really good at setting the scene, but when it comes to like directing their actors, some directors will be like, okay, let me see what you got. So you have to give it to you all. And there's like other directors that are more, I want you to do it like this. I want you to do it exactly like that. You know, they're very more specific and technical about directing their actors.
But a good director will say, when the talent says, I have an idea what I want to do, we'll say, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's see what you
And
got.
sometimes it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is
It doesn't work.
doesn't work.
But you got to think visually, and you got to think the continuity, how one scene is going to go into another. The real work comes in the pre-production. The shooting is easy for me. The pre-production, knowing what you're going to do. I break down every script, audio, video.
That's the headache.
Put on the left side, I describe how I want to do it, how the camera's going to go, what the shot's going to look like, where the close-up is, or the ECU, the extreme close-up. But I always shoot a master wide, so I have the full shot. I can always go to it. And again, you can blow up stuff today where you couldn't necessarily do that before too easily.
It's a process like everything. Have you ever been struck by a celebrity or somebody that, you've been like, wow?
Well, Vincent Price, I was starstruck with him. I couldn't believe I was doing that. And I worked with so many celebrities over the years. We did all the Lancome, not all of them, but most of the Lancome commercials with Isabella Rossellini, who was a very big star. And she was wonderful to work with. And she was like anybody else, But when the stars get on the set, they see that everybody knows what the hell they're doing. They're great. Let's get on with it, But I must have worked with a couple of hundred celebrities and music groups. And sometimes the local actors give you more aggravation than any celebrity.
Yeah.
And I forget who it was, but a friend of mine was directing a commercial with this major talent, but I'm not going to mention his name, but I'll tell you the story. And he was getting $450,000 for the day, and he was a total a-hole on the set. But as soon as he found out he could keep that $300 suit, he was happy as a pig in shit. Forget the $450,000, but he could keep the suit. He was happy. I mean,
what?
I know. Yep.
How does it feel to direct a live TV show with 8 cameras?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, I'm hyper anyway. My mind can watch every television. And when I'm in the control room, I can watch every monitor, take 2, stand by 3, take 3, wider on 4, take 6. I just love that stuff. My mind just works like that, And so I love directing the multi-camera shows. And even a live show where you can't control the action, you're just covering it.
That's going to be more intense because since it's live, you got to be willing to, in a microsecond, just like anticipate every move.
Well, yeah, I got to go on stage. I was told, all these celebrities that were going to be paying homage to Dan Marino, and I blocked out where the cameras would go. And it was live. I mean, it was, but luckily it worked out great. As long as you have that wide cover shot, you could always go to that shot of the wide shot and then get your angles with the other cameras and do your best back in the day to keep the cameramen out of the shots. Once in a while they're in there. It's not a big deal.
What's the most challenging show you ever produced / directed? And what's the one that if you could do it again, you'd be like, I'm not doing it?
The most challenging one were those 3 ABC station holiday shows that I did at Greenwich Studios. Maybe it was 5 or 6 cameras. And I had 2 days to do 3 one-hour specials. That was the big challenge for me, to get it done. But it just worked out great. And every time I had it, sometimes my idea would change like that. And we were able to do what I want to do with the cameras and the crew. And there was a lot of editing involved. We knew everything that was going to happen beforehand. And Spencer Christian, who was on Good Morning America at the time, was a pleasure to work with. I only had problems with one person in all my years who had a cocaine problem that I will not mention the name.
Please don't.
She was wired, and we had to call off the shoot.
Just doing lines left and right. But like badly wired?
Yeah, we couldn't shoot anymore with her.
Please tell me she was not like the sound engineer with the boomstick.
No, this was a talent that was a famous newscaster on the network.
No way.
Nobody warned us about this. And once I had a Steadicam operator show up, and he was all wired on cocaine, and he never did drugs before. I go, what the hell's going on here? I was on an all-night shoot, and I was tired. These guys gave me this thing. Then he had to be on my shoot, so I had to get somebody else. To cover it. And I'll tell you one time, I was single at the time, and I partied one night.
You did cocaine?
I did. I tried it for the first time, but I had to go to Cinevideotech and get in a chopper to shoot something. So when I get in the chopper, all I remember an hour later is landing. And the producers call me back and say, all we saw were your sneakers hanging over the city of Miami. I learned a big lesson. I think I was 30 at the time or something like that, 29 years old.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, that pure cocaine will get you places.
But let me talk about Miami and South Florida. This is a wonderful place to shoot. You get a lot of cooperation from the cities. I can block out a street. I want to close down South Beach, a couple of blocks or whatever. You get all the cooperation. The police love it because we put them to work. They're on the set helping us keep the traffic away and whatever. This is a very welcoming community, and it has been for years. Major movies were shot here, whether by locals or from around the country, and they've all had very good experiences shooting here because they get a lot of cooperation. And that's very much appreciated, you know. And now it's so easy. If I need a house to shoot, I live in this gated community and we have Facebook. And if I need a particular kitchen or something, I put it out on the Facebook. Listen, I'm shooting this commercial. I need a kitchen all day. This is what you'll get. All of a sudden, 20 people are reaching out and sending me pictures. It's so easy to find locations these days. We used to shoot chase scenes and stuff on I-95. I remember when I-95 was built, but you don't have the traffic. And we'd have to slow things down. We'd have these big camera trucks, and I'd be on this crane thing on the back of the truck doing some great shots. In downtown Miami, we shot a lot at Bayfront Park. We've shot everywhere in South Florida.
We're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Do not move from your seat, and we'll be right back with more of Steve Marcus and his craft. We want to take this moment to thank our partners that helped us make this show possible. Cine Videotech has provided film equipment, training, and rental services inside and outside the United States since 1968. Theatrical Productions offers consulting, productions, and rental services in Central and South America for a wide range of films, advertising, marketing, commercial projects, and more. Art Accelerator is a non-profit organization that helps emerging artists accelerate their careers through film classes and film industry networking events. And we are back, Film Padawan, with our guest, Marcus Steve, also known as Steve Marcus, for his passion in film, production, directing, and his unique style in business and television. So, Steve, what is your opinion about AI in the film industry, all this technology with social media? Most importantly, how do you envision the future of cinema with this emerging tech?
Well, it's scary. And the reason it's scary is if they can start creating TV shows, AI, that are, everything looks like live, real actors, that's scary. You know, so I don't know where it's going to go. Though there's a lot of benefits to AI for other things that we do, you know. In 10 years, I wonder if people are going to be able to even work in this industry anymore, especially actors, if they're going to create them through artificial intelligence. Hopefully something will be done about that. That's not right. But people had to work like that.
I think it was like maybe, was it last year or 2 years ago? There was like, you know, the major strike that happened with, well, one of the many strikes they've had in SAG, I think. It was something to do with AI.
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's scary in the sense of, as a producer, you can save so much money because you can basically create everything from a computer. You don't need to like scout for locations or anything like that. Yeah, as far as actors too.
They can create any famous actor they want. There's a law against that now. I mean, you can't just
create Marlon Brando out of nowhere.
It's mind-boggling what they can do. I use it sometimes to help with scripting on certain things, and it's mind-boggling sometimes, and how fast you can get the information that you put in there.
ChatGPT is like, it extracts the information from, you know, sources.
They're saying that all diseases will be solved because of AI in the next 10 years. I mean, they're going to have a solution for everything. I just had a heart ablation a year and a half ago. They came up with a new way because of AI to do the procedure. I haven't had AFib anymore. I'm not on blood thinners anymore. Took 3 hours to do. I've never had a talent boggling to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
You're using AI now in the medical field.
It's funny. I mean, do these people that created AI, like, they never watched The Terminator? Like, do you know what happened with that?
No.
Skynet? I mean, it's
crazy.
You won't be back. You know, that's, it is ridiculous.
It's a different world right now for actors and all the guys behind the scenes. And hopefully the unions will keep certain things from happening because they'll strike again. So it's scary.
Talking about scary things, what was the most difficult commercial you ever shot? And what was so scary about it?
We were shooting on Wall Street for Toyota in the rain, and we were doing some race maneuvers with the cars and sliding and this and that.
Some drifting?
Yeah, and I was directing it. I had to get in the middle of a lot of this stuff with the camera. I was doing my own camera work on that one. I used to do all my own camera work on the commercials when they were single, but nowadays I have camera guys that do it. I like to put them to work to do it, and I'll concentrate on the talent. That was a scary situation. And we were shooting there, and it was a non-union crew, and it was on a Sunday on Wall Street, so we had it all blocked for ourselves. And I'll never forget, some guy's walking down the street towards us, and I go, who's this guy? And he comes over and goes, hi, I'm president of this particular union. What are you guys doing? And it's like he knew we were there. So we had to make good with the unions to continue on. Yeah, we were told by Toyota we could do it non-union on a Sunday out there on the street. Well, it didn't work out that way. But
And what was the greatest lesson that you comprehended throughout your career?
Do the work hard, and the end result, you will love the end result. Put everything you have into it. Don't take a project if you don't feel it. I have turned down some projects, but I just love seeing the end result. I love seeing the results of what we do, and I love seeing the great ratings if we're doing a TV show or specials or series or whatever. So I just like every aspect of it. It still energizes me.
Are you involved in any productions at the moment?
Yeah, we're shooting actually a commercial. I won't mention the name, but it's a major alarm system around the country that people put in their homes that also controls the TV and the lights and everything. So that's what we're working on now, and we have other projects that we're bidding on. But things have slowed down since the election, and the economy's a little funky right now. But it's coming back. Sometimes you're powerless over certain things,
Everybody keeps talking about the economy this, the economy that. Go watch movies. Go to the movies.
This country's in trouble if Dunkin' Donuts goes out of business.
Or McDonald's.
That will bother me because I love my coffee. I've never shot a Dunkin' Donut commercial. I should have.
You should.
Yeah. Maybe one day it'll come my way. You never know.
Do you mentoring students? Do you have students?
I still have people. Yeah, people will contact me sometimes, and if I have a lot going on, they want to learn on the set.
Or they will call you for advice, like, hey, you think
all the time.
suggestions, basically.
I do that all the time. And I love having young people that are new in the industry to let them hang on the set. Sometimes family friends will call that their grandkid wants to get into production. He just wants to learn. He just wants to be on the set. I said, bring them on, and they'll learn everything, and they see if it triggers something in them, But I do that a lot.
That's pretty cool.
Very important. People did that for me. I do that for them.
It kind of keeps you, fresh. And
I'd like to think most production companies or even movie producers will do that, have interns on the set, get their foot in the ground.
I believe that's important.
Very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Steve, do you recall, any project that started total chaos? It shifted towards a positive outcome that you were proud of.
The answer is no. By the time I get on the set, I got the right people. Everything is scheduled. The talent is booked. No, unless you have major storms or lose electricity or something. But no, I've never had something like that.
So it's been like smooth sailing every single...
Yeah, except if it rains and the shoot gets screwed up, we got to do it another day.
Cocaine.
Or the cocaine.
Yeah.
No, not really. I never have. Everything is planned. Everything is scheduled out. The shooting order, what time I want certain people there. If I got somebody I'm shooting at 2:00 in the afternoon, an actor, I don't bring him in there at 8 a.m. I have him come in at 1:30, have lunch, get in makeup, and go to work, and then go home. So everything is like planned. I mean, I've never had a nightmare of a case, really, except with that one girl.
Speaking of food, that it just reminded me that one time, many years ago, a friend of mine, actress, she told me, never have a big meal before a performance. Always have like something, food, but like a small portion, like maybe, I don't know, like a little salad or something, because I cannot imagine having to do a scene where it's like intensity, where there is crying, or I don't know, a violent scene 30 minutes after I had like a ribeye steak with potatoes. And
well, a lot of the talent, we will ask them what type of food they like for lunch. Some people are allergic to certain things, but I got to feed that crew good. I give the crew a lot of food. They love a nice meal on the set, and they get a nice breakfast in the morning. But the talent, we will always ask what they want to eat beforehand. Some people don't eat red meat, but it's up to you to make the decisions what you're going to put on that fork.
Have you ever had a situation where somebody would say, "Oh, you know what? I would like to have a steak for lunch, and I would like to have it medium rare," and then come lunchtime, it's well done, and it's just a total, what is this?
I've never had a talent do that. Like I said, We talk to them beforehand to see what they would like. I want to keep the talent happy. The bottom line is it's their face on the screen, can make it happen or not make it happen. That's the most important part. So we want to make it very, very easy so they're comfortable.
You mentioned that your son works with you now, collaborates with you. Can you share a little bit how that dynamic works?
When he was very young, I would have him on, when he was in like 12, 13, 14, I'd have him on the set. I'd let him sit behind the Panavision cameras. I wanted him to get comfortable being on the set with everybody. And he knows everybody's job. He knows what crew guys to hire for certain things, whether it's camera guys or Steadicam operators or a jib guy or grips or lighting directors, makeup. He knows all the players. If that shoot goes well, he can just sit there like this all day because he did his job. Then it's up to me. He produces it. We'll talk a lot during that process prior, but when the producer does his job properly, then the director is off to the races. So that's very important. So he was trained very well. He does a great job. I let him make a lot of decisions, and he enjoys it. He loves it. It's always something different.
So that dynamic, you being his father, it's kind of like you're not talking to him as the dad.
I'm not his dad on the set.
You're able to separate that.
Absolutely.
and that dynamic is just like another employee.
But we've always had a close relationship.
Of course, he's your son.
We would hang out all the time, go to car shows on the weekends. We both love cars, so we do a lot of that.
What are you remembering right now?
And having my son on the set, he did one with me when we were shooting in Disney World. I let him do the camera slating, when all the crowds were watching and they had to be quiet. And you see this kid come up, all right, scene 2, take 1. And he would do it. And that was a thrill for me to have him do that, to let him get his feet wet in the industry,
Especially in Disney,
Oh,
At that age?
Oh, sure. And he loved it. We always took him to Disney World. And when I shoot at Disney World, they will take my smaller to the park, underground to each thing, not to have to wait online, which is very nice.
What?
Yeah. The Magic Kingdom has an underground, which is very cool. All the characters, they don't walk around the park to get where they're going. It's underground and they just go up, whether it's Mickey or Pluto or Donald Duck.
I did not know that.
And when you work with Mickey Mouse, he's only allowed to work 15 minutes at a time because of the costumes in it. So there's another Mickey Mouse ready to come in and take over. Well, I don't know, sometimes it's 20 Mickey Mouses I use. I didn't even realize it.
I've been to Disney so many times throughout my life.
Disney's great to work with. Yeah.
I don't know, they kind of messed up Star Wars. But I do believe that they messed it up.
Yeah, maybe a little.
Maybe a little bit too much. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with more of Steve Marcus. Cinema Pathway TV, we are committed to bring value to you and our film community as we explore the craft of filmmaking around the world. Also, visit us online at www.paradoxicalfilms.com/shop, where you can purchase Paradoxical Films and Cinema Pathway gear such as hoodies, t-shirts, hats, stickers, and more. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at cinema_pathway_podcast for behind-the-scenes footage, photos, and more. Welcome back to the Cinema Pathway TV show. I am your host, Fernando Guillen, and we are back with Steve Marcus, an amazing filmmaker and human being. Steve, for you, what has been the most significant evolution in television that you noticed that needs to be learned?
Well, when I started in TV, it was all video cameras. Everything was like, I would shoot at Channel 4 sometimes. They had a studio I could rent out in Miami in Channel 7. And it was old technology. And I've seen such a development over the years. Things have changed in this business. And
like what, for example?
Well, the new technology in cameras, when they developed the Steadicam, where you could run down the street with somebody, and technical things like that, and how the cameras we go from film, television, there's the electronic world, which is video, and there's a chemical world, which is here. And then as things developed, they married. So what happened was you had the video cameras that are now looking like film that we can use 35 millimeter lenses. We never could do that on video cameras years ago. And have depth of field and use prime lenses. We could use zooms or just basically your stock lenses. And then have the video playback assist that somebody could show you what you're doing like on a film camera. So the technology has certainly changed in all aspects of it. And now they got drones where we can do aerial shots. I don't need helicopters anymore. I can use a drone, We're bidding on something now where we're going to need 3 or 4 drones. I love the idea that South Florida has all the equipment I need, has all the crews I need, has all the studios I need. The infrastructure is here. If you want to do a major movie, a television series, and they've done them over the years here, it can all be done here. Sometimes they have to bring crews in, but more and more they're hiring local crews for most of their projects. So it's been fascinating to watch over the years.
There's a lot of new things out there. Just the drones alone, it's
great shots that you can pull off with those things.
Oh, yeah. I see a lot of pages on Instagram of extreme sports, and one of them is Red Bull, and oh my God, like the shots that they do with the drones.
Yes,
whoever operates those drones,
they're good.
They're so good. Could be like cars drifting or like mountain biking, anything, like people doing bungee jumps.
Yeah.
And it's just like the way they operate the drones are just insane.
Just following a car down the road. I mean, you don't need helicopters anymore.
Not at all.
It's so much easier, and you could watch what they're shooting down on the ground.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great tool. For creative people to have all of these tools, it's wonderful.
No, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think the people that want to act in film and TV need to understand the production aspect of things. Need that you're going to be...
Well, we spoke earlier.
Yeah, that you're going to be told to do it different ways. And now I'd like to try it this way, or I'd like to try it that way. Because sometimes when you're doing a shoot, you're just not sure, so you overshoot things. I've never had problems with any of my talent cooperating on that kind of things. They enjoy it as well, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a collaborative job.
Speaking about all of this tech stuff and the collaboration, have you ever been offered to direct a film?
I was offered once, and I had 2 young kids at home, and I'd have to be gone for 6 months, so I turned it down. I don't even remember what film it was, but this was probably back in the mid-'80s. And I had 2 toddlers at home, and I wasn't going to do it. So I passed.
Is it something that you would be open to do nowadays if you had the opportunity to direct a film?
I have no desire to direct a movie. I love what I do. It's quick. It's always something different. So no, I mean, I've had some things thrown at me over the years, but no desire to do a movie.
Any particular reason why?
Television is my blood. It's always been television. Now, episodic stuff, that's something different. It's not a movie. It's quick. You can get an hour show done in a week.
What is it that you love about your career so much?
It's all different. I'm not going to the same job every day, sitting behind a desk. Everything is a challenge. Everything is new. It's meeting with everybody and creating the sets or the choreography for the dancers, working with the talent and getting involved in the wardrobe and the makeup, because it's up to me.
The food.
Oh, the food. I would pick wardrobe for L'Oreal and Lancome. But when I leave the house, I have to say to my wife, does this match? It's mind-boggling. But on the set, I make all the choices. And my makeup artists usually help a lot, too, with that.
I've heard that, especially in TV, I heard that makeup artists, they know everything that goes on set.
Well, it's very interesting that you say that. Because one of my makeup artists will say to me, Did you notice that had nothing to do with the makeup? At first it would bother me.
It's a thing, right?
Yeah, first it would bother me. Then I'm saying, but she was right. I missed something. So I will listen if you're seeing something that I'm not seeing. Because as a director, you're watching a lot of things. You're not just watching the talent. You're making sure the boom is in the right position, the lighting's right, the dolly track is set the way it's supposed to go, and everything is blocked out. So as a director, it's not just the talent. It's not like a stage show where you're just working with the talent. There's a lot more involved. So it's totally different.
They told me once, like, if you really want to network once you're on set, always go to the cinematographer.
Interesting.
And, just talk to that guy. That's the guy you want to talk to.
Okay. It's a collaborative effort on our sets. Everybody becomes friendly by the end of the shoot day. Everybody gets friendly with everybody. The food stylist is friendly with the crew or the talent or the actors. Then they're talking about people they knew that they worked with. It's not a tense environment, and not on my sets anyway. I like to have fun, but I like to keep it going. I don't waste time. I'm on a schedule. And once I see the shot and it's right, move on. But I like to have backups too. And if the talent has suggestions, always open to it. If they want to try it a certain way, I don't have all the answers. And sometimes the talent comes up with some great ideas too.
Have you ever had other directors?
There were times when we were so busy, I'd have to hire other directors. And once at Greenwich Studios, I forget what commercials they were, I was shooting one commercial in one studio, and my other director was shooting another one in the other studio. And sometimes that happens when you get real busy.
If something was going wrong simultaneously in both...
I'd have a producer with them because I couldn't be there. I would be part of the pre-pro, but I had my own shoot to worry about. So he would have a producer that I would bring in, and he would do his job like I do my job. I think we talked during lunch that day, and that was it. We both went on with what we were doing. Good memories. Great memory. I have so many good memories in this business because it's all different.
And of all those memories, of all those commercials, of all those projects, live action events that you were involved in, of all the people that you met, what is the one moment, that one project that you're most proud of?
Wow, that's a great question. The TV shows, obviously, and working with Vincent Price on Broadway, all the TV shows, all the Disney stuff I've done, the specials. It's like it's an adventure for me. Be gone from the home for 10 days or whatever. Even if it's on Miami Beach, I'd be staying at the hotel because a lot of the work would be at the Fontainebleau. I shot a lot at the Fontainebleau over the years, commercials and TV shows. So it's all exciting to me, everything, because it's always different. It's not boring.
You have no idea how the day is going to be.
Well, I know how I want it to be. Usually it works out fine for us. The tricky stuff is when it's an outside shoot, it's a little more tricky. Can rain or whatever, so we're ready for that. But we have the big mobile dressing rooms out on location, so people can stay in there. I don't think I ever got rain. Maybe I got rained out once on a shoot many years ago. I have moved shoots because of weather reports that we knew it was going to rain, so we would delay it a few days. We've been pretty lucky.
What do you think is the worst advice you ever received in your trajectory?
Worst advice is, why are you wasting your time with this? You're never going to succeed with what you want to do in South Florida.
Your father? Or?
Well, my father and some other people, friends of mine, when I would, tell them as we were eating Royal Castle hamburgers, I want to do TV shows and TV commercials. How are you going to do that? I just knew it was my destiny to do it, and it just worked out. I'm amazed by the success. I mean, I didn't realize it while I was doing it because I was so much into it and then moving from one project to another. And as I get older now and things have slowed down, I really look back on it, and I wouldn't change a thing. And my dad, I'll never forget when he came to me for his first raise. I said, a raise? That was funny. But he had his own childhood to deal with, but he was a great guy. We made our peace, but I loved having him in the office. He was our bookkeeper. He was doing the books.
Oh, really?
Paying the bills and doing everything that had to be done, yeah.
So he was part of it, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was very rarely ever on a shoot. He just did all the accounting and everything and took care of all that. But it was great having my dad there.
Good memories with your old man?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good memories, yeah. And with my mom. My dad passed away when I got married again. When my wife was pregnant with our son, Brody, he passed away before he was born. And 2 years later, I believe in talking to the other side, but he freaked me out. 2 years later, I go in my son's room, Brody, and I'm showing him pictures of everybody. Who's this? Oh, that's Grandpa and Grandma and this and that. Then I point to my father, who had passed away. He didn't know. I said, you know who that is? He goes, that's Pop-Pop. I go, how do you know that? He says he visits me in my room at night. That was like mind-boggling to me, that he was having conversations with my father who passed away while my wife was pregnant with my son. There's a connection there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a beautiful thing.
It was amazing.
It's been an honor having you in the show, Steve.
I appreciate you having me. This was great. I've never done this before and talked about my career like this. This is the first.
I hope it wasn't too intrusive.
Not at all, but it makes me appreciate all these years, and I thank you for that. That was great. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Are you ready for final thoughts, Steven?
Hang on a second now.
We designed this segment to get to know Steven's human side. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And you're going to answer the first thing that pops in your head without thinking. So are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. What's your favorite word?
Work,
What's your favorite color?
blue.
What is your favorite place?
Dunkin' Donut for my coffee every morning.
What's your favorite movie?
The Graduate and Blazing Saddles.
What's your favorite song?
Copacabana,
How do you wish to be remembered?
especially for my family members that I've always been there for them. That was very important to me, whether it's taking them to parties, graduations, weddings, grandkids being born. I show up for everything. My son, and my second marriage, I'm 76, I have an 18-year-old. He was accepted into NYU. He'll be going to college, taking the business school. And also he's a creative dancer and an actor. And he's been doing stage work and winning a lot of awards. So it's going to be exciting to see where his future lies.
That is awesome.
And he's an entrepreneur. He's got a business head. My wife and I would never tell the kids what they should do or what they shouldn't do. Go for your dream. It's better to fail at something than always wonder 30 years later, what if? Go for it. And that's very important. So it'll be exciting. And it's tough on us, especially my wife, for him moving away. You know, we get close to the kids, but we're excited for him at the same time. And if I end up doing that Broadway show in New York, I'll be up there a lot where he is. So
That's good.
If it should happen, I look forward to that.
If you would have to sum up your life's work with one word, what would it be?
Amazed. Not amazing. I am amazed.
Where can the audience reach you?
Yeah, Marcus Productions is on Facebook. Steve Marcus is on Facebook. Some other social media things that I'm sure my son has us on. But at our website at marcusproductions.com. You're welcome to come on and take a look at a lot of these TV shows we talked about. Some behind the scenes videos they'll see as well. And a lot of the commercials that we've done over the years. So it's all out there for people to see.
Before we go, what are words of wisdom that you can share with the audience?
If you have a dream, stay away from negative people. I hate to say this, and your parents don't like your dream, stick with what you want to do because you're going to be happier. Forget about the money. The money can come or not come, but if you love what you do every day and look forward to going to work, that's one of the biggest gifts you can have.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very much
For
appreciated.
being with us and sharing your life history, your work history, talk about yourself so openly. Here at the Cinema Pathway, you have a home. You're always welcome, and we wish you the best in your future projects. And I am very honored to have had you here today.
I'm honored to have you sitting here with me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That
great.
means a lot.
Did a
You're making
great
me
job.
blush.
Did a great job.
Well, we have reached the end of this episode. To our audience, remember that we are also streaming on our platform, the Cinema Pathway Podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. Lights